Hello friends, and welcome back to probably our first tutorial of the entire year, which is crazy because it's June, but we have to start somewhere. My name is Glory and I crochet a lot on this channel, stuffed animals in particular, but today you are going to be crocheting a lot with me. Hello friends, and welcome. I love how she sits in the palm of my hand. That's actually the main reason why I created this pattern. Let's talk about this pattern real quick before we go into materials and stuff. Hello friends, and welcome back to probably our first tutorial, this demarcation line. Hello friends, and welcome back to probably our Hello friends, and welcome back to probably our first tutorial. If you want to go ahead and access the pattern, go in the description of this video and the link is at the very top. If you want to make this pattern and you're wondering if you can sell your finished plushie, go right on ahead. I do not care what you do with your final crochet bear, as long as you let people know where the pattern comes from. I think that's all I want to talk about for intros. So let's talk about our supplies and then we're going to get started. These are the materials that you're going to need. Your yarn color of choice. I'm using blue in today's video because blue is an easy color for you guys to see. And also because I want to make my bear a grumpy bear from Care Bears. So I think that'd be cute. These are the materials that you're going to need. A lot of stitch markers. The first thing that I like to do when I'm looking at this pattern is that I like to crochet all the small pieces and get them out of the way. So for me, I'm actually going to start by crocheting the ears. The ears are simply just 6 stitches crocheted in a magic ring, and then you cut it away and leave a short tail. In the pattern it says a short tail. A short tail just means to leave only about 2 inches of yarn on your hook after you cut it. And then you finished one ear. I'm going to make the other ones, and I'm going to also make some of the limbs on camera so you guys can see what I mean. Let's work on the arms next. Usually we crochet like this, and you notice how like all the stitches are on the inside. After round 1, this is where you should go ahead and flip your work inside out so that all your stitches show up on the right side. Next, I'm just going to go ahead and chain 1. Now I want to zoom in real quick. Place your hook into that next stitch, but then don't remove your hook. Place it again into the previous stitch, kind of like this. That way your hook will be perfectly straight, and you'll notice that it's almost as if the arms want to close in on each other. That's because we're going to crochet the arms closed. And you're just going to simply stick your hook into the next stitch, and then you're going to stick your hook into the stitch right across from it. And then you're going to crochet those stitches together. Last stitch, I'm going to stick my hook into this stitch, and I'm going to stick it into that stitch right across from it. And remember, when you're doing this, your hook will be perfectly straight, vertically straight, that is. And then single crochet those stitches together. When you do this, you actually seal that hole closed, creating like a flat edge instead of the round edge that you saw earlier. That's the arm. I'm going to work on the other one real quick. Second arm is complete. Let's start crocheting the legs first. I'm going to work this on camera because I want to show a couple of things that will make your legs crocheting a little bit easier, especially going in to crocheting the rest of the body. Now this pattern starts by crocheting 8 stitches in a magic ring. So I'm gonna do that real quick. And now I'll increase in each stitch. Every time you start a round, you have to make sure that you are marking your first stitch with a marker. Let me speed round 3 real quick. For round 3, we're just single crocheting in each stitch. So I'm gonna work that really quickly. Whoops, sorry about that. Okay, let's talk about round 4. Round 4 is honestly not too bad, but I do want to make a couple of quick notes. For round 4, you're going to be decreasing in each stitch. Now, a lot of times, a lot of crocheters will like to do the invisible decrease, which is simply doing decreases, but only in the front loops of the stitches, not both loops. What that looks like is I'll stick my hook into the first front loop, and then without removing my hook, I'm gonna go and stick it into that second loop as well. And then I'll yarn my hook over, and then I'll draw through both of those loops. It takes a bit, especially if you're just learning this. But now you can just draw another loop and you have a decrease that almost looks like a normal stitch if you're looking from far away. I'm going to do that a few more times. Now, I am decreased 5 times. On the 6th decrease, I don't want you to do it in those front loops. We'll need those loops for later. Instead, do it in the back loops instead. And those 2 front loops, I'm gonna work round 5 real quick. Just like what we did with the arms, you're gonna go ahead and chain 1. That first stitch, you want to go ahead and stick your hook into it. But without removing your hook, stick your hook into that last loop as well, like this. Your hook should be perfectly straight. Now you can go ahead, wrap your yarn around, and single crochet those stitches together. And I'm going to do that with every single pair that I see. So I'm going to crochet these 2 stitches together right here, this and this, and I'm going to crochet this and this together, and I'm going to crochet this and this together last. Let me work that out real quick. And that's the end of the legs. We were able to crochet them closed. And now I'm just going to quickly work on the next one off of camera. Now you'll notice I did not stuff the legs, and I wouldn't recommend you to stuff them either. So don't worry about using your stuffing here. But make sure that these stay on your legs. I'll come back when I finish the last leg, and then we're going to start the body. The second leg is done. That was a terrible scissors cut. I'm going to go ahead and start rounds 1 to 3, and then I'll pick up when it's time to attach the legs at round 4. I'll have the rounds up on the screen so that you can see what I'm speed crocheting for. Okay, Now we are going to start attaching the legs. You see the next 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. We're going to use the next 4 stitches to attach our first leg. Pick up one of your legs. You see where your stitch markers are? Make sure they're facing towards you when you're crocheting. I'm going to go ahead and stick my hook into the first stitch on the top of the leg. And then without removing my hook, I'm going to go ahead and stick it into the next stitch of the body, like this. That way, you notice that the circle and the leg, they kind of line up. And then I'm going to single crochet those stitches together. Again, I'm going to do that with the next stitch of the leg. And then without removing my hook, I'm going to cut it into the next stitch of the body. Oops. And then I'm going to single crochet those stitches together. I'm going to do that pretty slow 2 more times. And congratulations, you have attached the leg to the body. Now, you might notice that there's a little bit of that tail from our leg is kind of just sticking out. Go ahead and just stick your hook in and then just pull it through so that it doesn't continuously stick out as we're going to work up the body. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just quickly checking my stitches. But now I'm going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches of the body. Just kidding, just the next 1 stitch. And I'm going to do the same thing with the next 4 stitches and connect the next leg as well. I've connected the second leg and I'm already going to go ahead and just finish up the rest of the round. You should have 24 stitches on your hook. I've connected the second leg and I'm already going to go ahead and just finish up the rest of the round. You should have 24 stitches on your hook. I've connected the second leg and I'm already going to go ahead and just finish up the rest of the round. You should have 24 stitches on your hook still. Not on your hook, on your row. Okay. Now, let's start round 4. Round 4 is pretty easy. You're just single crocheting in each stitch. Round 5, you still haven't used these. We're going to use them right now. I'm going to do one trick though. And I'm going to put another pin. I know, another stitch marker again. Goodness gracious. But I'm going to use this stitch marker and I'm going to put it on the 2 stitches after. So I'm going to count 1, 2 stitches, and then in that 3rd stitch, I'm going to put the stitch marker in. And the reason I'm doing that is just to make sure that my stitches are not being skipped when I do this next step. This next step is that I'm going to bring this leg and bring it up towards the body. To do that though, I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to stick it into the first loop, the first stitch that you see where the first loop is. At this point, you can go ahead and take it off, but I'm going to keep it on because now the next thing I want to make sure to do is to stick my hook into the next. I've connected the second leg and I'm already going to go ahead and just finish up the rest of the round. You should have 24 stitches on your hook still. Not on your hook, on your row. Okay. Now let's start round 4. Round 4 is pretty easy. You're just single crocheting in each stitch. Round 5 might be a little bit interesting, so I'm gonna show round 4 just so that you can see how round 5 is without any cuts. Okay, I'm about to finish round 4, and here we go, round 5. So I'm gonna start by single crocheting in the next, I just need to crochet in the next 3 stitches of the body, like so. And I'm actually gonna do the same thing that I did last time, where I'll count 2 stitches, because these are the 2 stitches that I'm gonna use to connect this leg here. And then I'll put a stitch marker in the 3rd stitch, just so that I don't accidentally skip it. I'm gonna do the same thing again. Stick your hook where the yellow marker is, and then stick it in the next stitch of the body and crochet them together. Whoops. Well, not like me, because I took my hook off. But that's how you want to do it. And then I can take it off. There. Oops. It came off, but it's okay. I know that I need to crochet in this stitch next. And I'm actually going to crochet to the rest of the round. I've connected the 2nd leg, and I'm already going to go ahead and just finish up the rest of the round. You should have 24 stitches on your hook. It's time to start round 10. The final round of the pattern for the body, and then we're going to move on to the head, and then we're done. Pause. And I'm going to go ahead and connect the arm to the leg, kind of like what we did at this row right here. Take your hook, attach it here. Or honestly, I prefer to attach it like this. And then go in to the next stitch of the body, and then go ahead and single crochet your stitches together. And I'm going to do that 2 more times. And there you go. You got your arm connected. I'm going to go ahead and crochet into the next couple of stitches of the body by itself. Oops. Okay. And now, again, take your arm, put the first hook into the first stitch, then put it into that next stitch, and then single crochet it together. And then do that just 2 more times. Whoops. Sometimes the tail will get in the way. If it does, go ahead and just tuck it away somewhere, because sometimes we'll accidentally crochet with it, and that's never good. But then you crochet into the remaining 2 stitches of the round, and there you have it, y'all. You got yourself a very cute, very nice and friendly base bear body pattern. Okay, it's time to start round 10. The final round of the pattern for the body, and then we're going to move on to the head, and then we're done. So let's go ahead and single crochet 6. I can stuff this up real quick. I'm going to move on to the head. Now the body is complete. I'm not going to lie, y'all, for the head, it's way easier than the body is. Their noses are kind of a soft triangle shape. We're going to start round 1 real quick. You're going to single crochet in the first stitch. In this next stitch right here, I'm not going to work 1, not 2, but 3 single crochets into that 1 stitch. It's a very big increase, if you will. Now the body is complete. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, for the head, it's way easier than the body soft triangle shape that we know and love. Now the body is complete. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, for the head, it's way easier than the body is, but I like to start the body first because it's definitely the hardest part of the two parts for the body and the head. And if you know how to do the body from watching this video, yeah, we're on round 7. And then we're gonna attach the ears. All I'm gonna do is take my ear and flip it over a little bit because I like the shape when the ears are facing this direction instead. Go ahead, stick your hook into honestly any stitch of the ear. I'm gonna go ahead and just stick it into this stitch right here because it's the first stitch of the ear, so might as well. Then go ahead and place it into the next stitch of the ear and single crochet those stitches together. Again, stick your hook into the next stitch of the ear, right across from it. And then stick your hook into the next stitch of the body, head, I apologize, and crochet them together. Your ear should look something like this. Again, I like how the ear kind of naturally curves in if you connect it facing this way. So that's why I like to crochet my ears like that. I went ahead and I finished the head off camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and fasten off, and then I wanna show you, if you're not really aware, how to sew that hole closed so that you're not just left with, really ugly hole in the back of your head. And we are back, guys. I went ahead and I finished the head off camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and fasten off, and then I wanna show you, if you're not really aware, how to sew that. And we are back, guys. I went ahead and I finished the head off camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and fasten off, and then I wanna show you, if you're not really aware, how to sew that hole closed so that you're not just left with. Then just go ahead and just draw your loop through, draw your yarn through, and then re-stick your needle somewhere else. This ensures that whatever is gonna be thrown at this bear, whether it's a child playing with it or just the wear and tear of the laundry, that it will not unravel. There you have it, folks. That bear is done. The first thing I'm gonna do, assembly, is I'm gonna sew a triangle shaped ear right here. First, start by placing your hook right in the middle where you see that foundation. And then I'm gonna stick my needle into one side and another side where I actually want my ear to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stick my needle like somewhere over here. And then I'll stick the end of the needle back into that middle, and then I'll pull. Now I'm gonna stick my needle here, and then I'm gonna stick it back down in that middle, and I'm gonna pull again. Now you have the foundation for how you're gonna start your head. The only thing is that now you need to go back and stick your needle like this. Start from here, end through here, and then pull. And then go back in here and go back through the middle and pull again. Now you have the triangle. Now for this, I'm actually gonna sew how it feels most comfy to me, which is actually flipping the bear upside down. And I'm gonna go ahead and you're just gonna simply stick your needle little by little on the side of the bear and back through the middle, and make sure you're positioning your needle in a way that every part of that triangle essentially is being closed up and covered up. If you miss a spot, that's okay. Just go back around and rework through it. The best way I can describe this part is that you want to go ahead, position your yarn in the direction you want it to lay in. Then stick your needle in the closest spot that that yarn should stay in, and then go ahead and pull. With that being said, I have one more piece I'm probably gonna do, and we're good, guys. That's about it. It's really not that bad. I find that if you do the first steps that I listed out, it makes your work look way better, even if it's your first time. And that looks pretty good to me. Now for bears, you can go ahead and sew that little line that you sometimes see. For this one though, I'm gonna go ahead and opt out. So I'm not gonna actually sew that line. Instead, I'm just gonna stick it away from the center so that I can sew it up for later. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm actually gonna sew in 2 eyes. For those of you who don't have safety eyes, this is how I usually put eyes on my ears. On my head. First, I kind of use my fingers to kind of look at what stitches I want to place eyes in. And I'm thinking this stitch here and this stitch here are where I want to go. Just kidding. I think that might be a little too close. This and this stitch seem like a better option. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick my needle at the top of that first stitch. And then I'm gonna stick it vertically at the bottom of that stitch, which for me is like right here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pull through. Now I'm gonna repeat that process probably 3 or 4 more times, and I'm gonna make sure to do it slowly. Notice as I'm doing it, I'm moving my yarn from left to right to left and back to right again. This is just to make sure that our eyes stay as circular as possible. Oh shoot, I apologize for that. There. I got a little bit of stuffing stuck underneath it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take that out. And then if you'd like, sometimes going in and just adjusting it with your hands makes it even more round. That's one eye. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other eye, and then I'll be right back. I went ahead and finished. I don't know if y'all noticed, I added some like anger marks right above the eyes because I'm making Grumpy Bear, so you know, he needs to look grumpy. But now I'm gonna go ahead and we're kind of gonna do what we did when we finished up the head. I'm just gonna stick my yarn through random areas. And right now what I'm doing here is I pulled too hard and you could see the black yarn. So I took my needle and I just brought a little bit of blue yarn right back out, just so that you don't see the brown yarn at all. Then you just cut and you tuck in those spare ends. And this will make sure that your plushie is baby proof. And now we are at the final step, which is just simply sew head to body. This is how I usually do it. The best way to do this without messing up is to position your head right onto the body. Head is right in the middle. It's maybe slightly leaning down, but that's cool. and there's a little bit of a curve left over at the back. I'm actually just gonna stick this bamboo stick right through the plushie. I'm gonna start with this stitch first. Go ahead and stick your needle through anywhere in the top, right above that stitch, and then pull. Then with this stitch, I'm gonna go under it and out, similar to what we just did on top of it. And I'm gonna pull. This method ensures that you have a seamless crochet. Again, I'm gonna connect this stitch to the body next. So I'm just gonna go under some random area that just so happens to be right above that stitch of the head. And then I'm gonna pull. Then I'll go back in that stitch and I'm gonna go behind it and through. The first thing I'm gonna do for assembly is I'm gonna sew a triangle shaped ear. And we are done, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and do that secret trick that we do to make sure that our bear stands the test of time. I don't need that bamboo stick anymore. Let's take a look at the final bear. Look at our finished final bear. Now, the rest of the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and do something similar, and I'll come back and I'll show you what I came up with. I just went ahead and finished my own grumpy bear. Added some detail to the eyes, although he doesn't really look that grumpy anymore. And also I added his belly patch, but I just realized that it's not even in the center. I'm not gonna redo it though, because this was already a lot of work to do. I just went ahead and finished my own grumpy bear. I made a couple of edits. I added some detail to the eyes, although he doesn't really look that grumpy anymore. And also I added his belly patch, but I just realized that it's not even in the center. I'm not gonna redo it though, because this was already a lot of work to do. Now, with that being said, guys, I think we're done with our tiny bear. But I want to see yours next. Go to my Instagram when you're done and send me a picture